Alright, so imagine this. What if Cersei actually forced Jaime to end his own life? Yeah, let that sink in for a second. We all know Cersei and Jaime's relationship was, let's just say, next-level toxic. Twin siblings, lovers, partners in crime. From the very start of Game of Thrones, their whole deal was built on secrecy, manipulation, and obsession. But what if it got even darker? Like way darker than what we saw in the show? Picture this. Toward the final stretch of their story, instead of Jaime dying in Cersei's arms under the rubble, what if Cersei, in full-on ruthless queen mode, actually forced Jaime to take his own life? Not by accident, not in battle, but as a deliberate, twisted move on her part. Now you're probably thinking, why the hell would Cersei do that? Let's break it down. First off, we gotta remember, Cersei's biggest thing was power. She craved it. She needed control over everyone and everything around her. And Jaime was her ultimate weakness, her soft spot. He was the one person who saw the real her, but at the same time, that made him dangerous. Because deep down, Cersei hated any weakness in herself. So, while she loved Jaime, she also resented him for having that power over her emotions. Fast forward to the later seasons, Jaime starts changing. He's not that same blindly loyal guy anymore. He starts questioning her, pulling away, realizing she's crossing lines that even he can't justify. Remember when he rides north to fight with the Starks and Daenerys against the White Walkers? That was a huge betrayal in Cersei's eyes. In her world, loyalty is black and white. You're either with her 100% or you're against her. So, in this theory, let's say, after all that, after Jaime shows cracks in his loyalty, Cersei snaps. She decides if she can't fully own him, she'll destroy him. And not just physically, but mentally too. Now, here's where it gets really dark. Imagine Cersei, cornered in King's Landing as Daenerys is closing in. The city's falling apart, her enemies are at the gates, and she's losing everything. This is when she turns to Jaime, who's come back to her one last time. But instead of a tearful reunion, Cersei's ice cold. She tells Jaime straight up, "You failed me. You betrayed me. And now, the only way to prove your love is to take your own life. For me, crazy, right? But totally in line with Cersei's twisted logic. She wants absolute proof of loyalty. She wants to own Jaime's final act, to make sure his last breath is for her. And for Jaime? This would be the ultimate torment, because no matter how far he's tried to pull away, deep down, he's still tied to her. He's still in love, still trapped in that toxic web. So now, picture the scene. Jaime, broken and torn, standing there with his sword. Cersei watching him, cold and demanding. The Red Keep is shaking from the attacks outside. Everything's collapsing, and in that moment, it's just the two of them. Cersei pushes him, over and over, whispering, screaming, crying, whatever it takes to break him down. She tells him it's the only way they can be together forever, the only way to show he's hers completely. And after all that pressure, all that emotional blackmail, Jaime, crushed under the weight of it all, gives in. He takes his own life, right there, in front of her. It's brutal, it's heartbreaking, and it completely flips their ending on its head. But think about the fallout. Cersei, now totally alone, realizing she's destroyed the one person who ever truly loved her. Sure, she won in that twisted moment of control, but at what cost? She's left with nothing but guilt, rage, and the walls literally crumbling around her. It's like the ultimate symbol of her whole reign. She wanted it all, but her need for power destroyed everything, even her closest bond. And here's the thing. This theory would have added a whole new layer to Cersei's character. Instead of going out as a victim of Daenerys' dragon attack, she goes out as the architect of her own misery. It would have been the final nail in her tragic, toxic legacy. Plus, let's be real. This twist would have had fans losing their minds. The shock value alone? Viral instantly. Theories, breakdowns, reactions. It would have been everywhere, but also it would have given Jaime's arc a whole new tragic weight. Instead of dying because of fate or bad luck, he dies because of the one thing that's haunted him his whole life, his love for Cersei. Full circle, but in the darkest way possible. All right, so picking up from where we left off, Cersei has just dropped this insane ultimatum on Jaime. She's telling him, prove your loyalty, prove your love, by ending it yourself. Now, you might be thinking, how the hell does Jaime even get to that point? He's a Kingslayer, sure. He's done dark stuff before, but taking his own life? That's next level. So let's break down how this could really happen. First off, imagine the setting. King's Landing is pure chaos. The bells are ringing. Daenerys is going full mad queen. Fire everywhere. Jaime somehow manages to get back into the city, pushing through all the rubble and the panic, desperate to reach Cersei. He's beaten, up, bleeding, literally dragging himself through the madness. And finally, he finds her. But here's the twist. Instead of Cersei running into his arms, grateful he came back, she's stone cold. She's pissed, like really pissed. In her eyes, Jaime abandoned her when she needed him most. He left her alone to fight the North while he played hero with the Starks and Dany. So, when he shows up now, thinking they can just escape together? Nah, she's not having it. She looks at him, eyes full of rage and bitterness, and she hits him. With that line, "You think you can just leave me, betray me, and come back like nothing happened?" Jaime's stunned. He's out of breath, barely standing, and all he wants is to get her out of there. He's begging, saying, "We don't have time for this, Cersei. We need to leave, now." But Cersei, she's not thinking straight. Her world is crumbling, literally and emotionally. And deep down, she knows it's over. There's no escape this time. But instead of facing that reality, she turns all her fear into venom. She blames Jaime for everything, for leaving her, for weakening her, for making her feel vulnerable. And then she twists the knife. She says, "If you really love me, you'll do this one last thing for me. You'll die for me." At first, Jaime's like, "What the hell are you saying?" He thinks she's lost her mind. He tries to calm her down, telling her there's still hope. But Cersei's dead serious. She starts laying it on thick, reminding him of all their secrets, all their sins. She tells him he owes her, that everything he's done in his life, becoming the Kingslayer, betraying his honor, it was all for her. And now she wants his final act to seal that bond forever. She's crying, yelling, pulling every emotional string she can. "You said we'd leave this world together, Jaime. Don't you dare break your promise now." Jaime's torn to pieces. You can see it in his eyes. He's shaking, breathing heavy, completely wrecked inside. He's fought so hard to break away from Cersei's grip, but in this moment, under all that pressure, all the old feelings come flooding back. That guilt, that twisted love, that desperate need to make things right. And here's where it gets real dark. Cersei picks up his sword, his own damn sword, and holds it out to him. She's not even subtle about it. She looks him dead in the eyes and whispers, "Show me you're still mine." The room is shaking, dust falling from the ceiling, the whole world collapsing. But for Jaime, it's like everything goes silent. It's just him and her, the woman he's loved his entire life, the woman who's destroyed him, piece by piece. And finally, after what feels like forever, he takes the sword. He's crying now, shaking all over, and he asks her one last time, "Will this make you happy?" Cersei, with tears streaming down, her face nods. "It's the only way," she says, and in that brutal, gut-wrenching moment, Jaime does it. Right there, in front of her, his last act, the ultimate surrender, the ultimate proof of his love and loyalty. And you know what the craziest part is? Cersei watches the whole thing. She doesn't look away. She stands there, eyes locked on him, until the very end. And when it's over, she collapses to her knees, holding his body, sobbing. Because even though she wanted this, even though she forced it, it's like a piece of her soul dies with him. The walls are falling around her, but she doesn't even care anymore. She just sits there, rocking back and forth, whispering Jaime's name, completely broken. And that is how we set up the ultimate tragic ending for these two characters. No happy reunion, no bittersweet goodbye, just raw, brutal heartbreak and betrayal. Cersei's final, unforgivable act and Jaime's ultimate downfall. So, after that brutal moment, Jaime's gone. Cersei's sitting there, crushed under the weight of what she just did. King's Landing is still burning, the Red Keep is crumbling, but right now, we're zooming in on the aftermath of Jaime's death and how it flips everything for the other key players. First up, Tyrion. Man, Tyrion's world would shatter if he found out what happened. Think about it. He always saw Jaime as his protector, his big brother who actually loved him while the rest of the family treated him like trash. Jaime was the one person Tyrion could count on, and even when Tyrion started hating Cersei, he still hoped Jaime could pull her back from the edge. So now picture this. Tyrion's sneaking through the ruins after Daenerys has torched the city. He's desperately searching for his siblings, hoping against hope that they somehow survived the wreckage. He finds the place where they were trapped. And there, in the rubble, he sees Jaime's body. But it's not what he expected. Instead of seeing them crushed together like in the original ending, he notices something off. Jaime's wounds don't match up with the rubble around him. Tyrion, being the sharp mind he is, starts piecing it together. The sword, the way Jaime's positioned, it hits him like a punch in the gut. He realizes Jaime didn't die from the collapse. He took his own life. At first, Tyrion's in total denial. He's shaking, whispering, "No, no, this isn't right. Jaime wouldn't do that." But then he sees Cersei's body nearby, her hands still clutching his, and the pieces start to fall into place. The look on her face, the guilt, the devastation. It tells the whole story. And Tyrion loses it. He falls to his knees, screaming in rage and heartbreak. His last shred of faith in his family is completely destroyed. Jaime, the one good thing left in his world, is gone. And not just gone, but taken out by Cersei's madness. This would crush Tyrion's spirit in a way we never saw in the actual series. It would fuel his hatred for Cersei even more, but also fill him with guilt, because in his mind he let Jaime go back to her. He trusted that Jaime could save her. But instead, Cersei dragged him down with her. And now, let's talk about Daenerys. And Jon Snow. Imagine Daenerys finds out what Cersei did, that she forced her own brother-lover to kill himself. Dany already hated Cersei for her lies, her cruelty, her betrayal. But this takes things to a whole new level. Daenerys would see it as proof that Cersei was beyond redemption, that she was pure poison, right to the very end. And honestly, it would justify Dany's rage in her own mind even more. She'd be like, "See? This is why I had to burn it all down. Look what these people are capable of." But Jon Snow? Oh man, Jon would be shaken. Because no matter what, Jon always tried to see some shred of humanity in people. And seeing how Cersei twisted love into something so dark, it would haunt him. He'd look at Daenerys and think, is this what power does to people? Is this where we're all headed? It'd make him question everything even harder. This whole twist would also change the dynamic between Tyrion and Daenerys big time. Tyrion, broken and bitter, would probably snap at Dany saying something like, "You were right. Cersei was a monster. But burning the city, was that any better?" Their alliance would start cracking fast because Tyrion's grief would make him reckless, angry at everyone, including himself. And for the people of Westeros, this new ending would seal Cersei's legacy as the queen who destroyed her own bloodline. No one would remember her as just a ruler or a survivor. They'd remember her as the woman who, in her final days, turned love into a weapon and used it to destroy the only person who ever truly loved her. It would turn Jaime into a full-on tragic hero in the eyes of the realm. The Kingslayer, the Oath Breaker. In the end, a broken man who couldn't escape. The grip of toxic love. People would tell his story for generations as a warning. Love, loyalty, and power mixed together? Deadly combo. And here's the thing. This twist wouldn't just be shocking for the sake of it. It would fit the core themes of Game of Thrones. Power corrupts, love is a double-edged sword, and no one gets a clean, happy ending. So, after Jaime's tragic death and the bombshell truth of Cersei's final betrayal starts to spread, we gotta ask, what happens next? How does this totally mess up the power game at the end? First off, let's be real. Daenerys, fresh off her destruction of King's Landing, is standing tall, but she's also on shaky ground. People are already freaked out by how far she went, burning the city to ashes. But now, with the news that Cersei forced Jaime to kill himself, that rumor would sweep across Westeros like wildfire, and it would hit different. Because even though people hated Cersei, they respected Jaime, especially after he rode north to fight the White Walkers. His death? That's one thing, but him taking his own life because of Cersei's twisted demands, that's a scandal no one can ignore. Imagine the soldiers talking around the campfires. Did you hear? Cersei didn't just die like a queen. She destroyed Jaime's soul before the end. That's what her reign was all about. Betrayal, manipulation, and madness. It paints an even darker picture of House Lannister's collapse and makes everyone question everything they thought they knew about loyalty and honor. And now, Tyrion. Oh man, Tyrion's done playing the diplomat at this point. In the show, he was still trying to reason with Daenerys until the bitter end. But in this twist, he's way past that. He's broken, angry, and honestly, he doesn't care anymore. He marches up to Daenerys, throws down his hand of the queen pin even harder, and tells her straight up, "You destroyed the city, but Cersei destroyed my family. There's nothing left to fight for now." And here's where it gets really interesting. Jon Snow. We've already seen Jon wrestling with Daenerys' choices, but now, he's completely torn. On one hand, he sees that Cersei's evil ran so deep it infected everything, even love itself. On the other, he's watching Daenerys slowly spiral into her own kind of madness, drunk on power and vengeance. This whole twist forces Jon to ask the biggest question of all. Is every ruler doomed to become a tyrant? It shakes his belief in leadership, in honor, in the idea that someone good can ever sit on the Iron Throne and do it right. And let's not forget Arya. Arya's been on her own mission of vengeance, but seeing what happened to Jaime, that would hit her hard too. Arya always had a sharp sense of justice, an eye for true evil, and while she hated Cersei, even she would feel a kind of sick sadness knowing that Cersei's final act was to twist the knife into her own family. Arya might even start thinking, was death really justice for Cersei? Or did she deserve to live and suffer with the consequences of her own darkness? Now, here's where things could have really spiced up the finale. What if, instead of everyone just accepting Daenerys as queen after the battle, the lords and ladies of Westeros start questioning everything? The Iron Throne is sitting there, but no one wants it. They're all scared because they've seen what power does. Cersei's madness, Jaime's downfall, Dany's rage. It's like a curse. We could have a scene where the top houses gather. House Stark, House Arryn, House Greyjoy, and what's left of the Lannisters, and they all refuse to put anyone on the throne right away. They start talking about breaking the wheel for real this time, realizing the old way isn't working anymore. Meanwhile, Daenerys, she's furious. She wants her crown. She feels like she's earned it in blood. But no one's cheering for her. Even her closest allies are backing away, shaken by everything that's happened. And Tyrion, This is where he'd step up with the line that would crush it on YouTube. He'd say something like, "We've all seen what power does to people. My sister died proving it. My brother died paying for it. And now we stand here ready to crown another tyrant? No, not this time." Boom. Viral moment right there. And Jon, he's caught in the middle as always. He loves Daenerys but can't ignore the signs. He's haunted by Jaime's fate and starts to see a reflection of that same toxic spiral in Dany's eyes, and you can tell, it's eating him up inside. By the end of this part, Westeros is in total limbo. No ruler, no peace, just a fractured kingdom trying to figure out what the hell comes next. The Iron Throne's still there, but for the first time, people are starting to ask if anyone deserves to sit on it ever again. All right, so here we are. Westeros is a wreck. The Iron Throne is still standing. Barely. And everyone's staring at Daenerys like, what do we do with her now? But the real weight? It's all landing on Jon Snow's shoulders. Let's talk about Jon for a second. This dude has been through everything. Betrayals, battles, heartbreak, you name it. And now, he's standing in the ruins of King's Landing, watching Daenerys bask in her victory, while the truth of what happened with Jaime and Cersei is eating him alive. Think about it. Jon's already shook by how Dany torched the whole city. But when Tyrion pulls him aside and tells him the full story, that Cersei forced Jaime to take his own life, it just hits different. Jon's whole worldview starts cracking. Tyrion lays it out straight, his voice shaking with grief. "My brother died because of her madness, and now you see it, Jon. The same madness. In Daenerys." Boom. That hits Jon right in the gut. Because here's the thing. Jon wants to believe in Daenerys. He loves her. But Tyrion's words cut deep, and Jaime's tragic end is a haunting reminder of where blind loyalty leads. Jon's thinking back to all those times he watched Jaime wrestle with his own guilt, his own broken code of honor. And now he's wondering, am I becoming the same? So Jon does what Jon always does. He tries to reason with Daenerys. He walks into the throne room, and there she is, staring at the Iron Throne like it's her destiny finally fulfilled. Jon's heart is pounding. You can see it on his face. He wants to believe there's still hope, that maybe, just maybe, she can see reason. He says something like, "We've won. The war is over. Let's rebuild together." But Dany, she's gone, fully in her breaker of chains, ruler of ashes mindset. She turns to Jon, her eyes burning with intensity, and says, "We will build a new world. No mercy, no compromise." She's convinced she's doing the right thing, that her vision of peace justifies everything. And this is where Jon's face changes. He's no longer just sad or confused. He's scared. Scared because he realizes she's too far gone. And in the back of his mind, he's seeing Jaime's broken body all over again. He's hearing Tyrion's words. Madness runs deep. Power twists love into something deadly. Jon tries one last time, his voice shaking. "Don't become her." But Dany steps closer, puts her hand on his chest, and says coldly, "I'm nothing like Cersei. I'm better." And right there, Jon knows. He knows what he has to do, even if it rips his soul apart. So we all know what happens next. The kiss, the dagger, the heartbreak. But in this twist, it hits way harder. Because Jon's not just killing Daenerys to save the realm. He's killing her because he's haunted by what happened to Jaime. He's thinking, I won't let this love destroy me too. In that moment, Jon isn't just ending Daenerys' life. He's breaking the cycle of toxic, destructive love that's ruined so many before him. He's making the impossible choice Jaime couldn't make. Instead of being consumed by love and loyalty, Jon does the unthinkable to protect the realm from the same fate. And when it's done, Jon just stands there, shaking, tears in his eyes, sword dripping with blood. Drogon comes in, howling with grief, and melts the Iron Throne like in the original. But now, that moment feels even heavier. The throne isn't just a symbol of Daenerys' downfall. It's the thing that poisoned everything, from Cersei and Jaime's twisted love to Jon and Dany's doomed romance. As Drogon flies away with Daenerys' body, Jon falls to his knees, broken. Not a hero, not a winner, just another soul crushed under the weight of power and love gone wrong. By the time Grey Worm and the Unsullied find Jon, he's already made peace with his fate. He's ready to face judgment, but you can tell he's done. He's seen too much, lost too much, and in his eyes, there's nothing left to fight for. In this version, Jon's act isn't just a mercy killing. It's the final, tragic stand of a man who saw the writing on the wall and chose to break the cycle before it was too late. So, after Jon kills Daenerys and Drogon takes off with her body, the whole world seems to pause for a second. The war is over, the Iron Throne is a pile of molten junk, and everyone's just left standing there like, what now? Jon gets arrested, of course. Grey Worm and the Unsullied are furious. To them, Jon's a traitor, a man who stabbed their queen, in the back after everything she did to win that throne. But Jon, he's silent, empty. You can tell in his eyes, he's not fighting anymore. He's accepted whatever's coming for him because deep down, he feels like he deserves it. And here's the twist. Tyrion, despite being shattered by everything, steps up once again. The leaders of Westeros gather to figure out what the hell happens next. Sansa, Arya, Bran, Davos, and all the key players. They sit in that big circle just like the original show, but the mood, way heavier. Tyrion speaks up first. His voice is cold, raw, but sharp as ever. He says, "We are here because of power. My sister, Cersei, destroyed my brother with her hunger for it. Daenerys destroyed this city because of it. And Jon Snow destroyed the woman he loved to stop it. Everyone's dead quiet, hanging on. His every word. Tyrion keeps going. Power is the poison, and we keep passing the cup around thinking the next person won't drink, but they always do. This hits Sansa hard. She's seen it firsthand. What power does to people. Arya's eyes flicker with that same haunted look, and even Bran, sitting there calm as ever, seems to grasp the weight of it. They start debating. Some want to execute Jon. Others want him freed. But Tyrion offers something different. Exile him. Let him live out his days in the nights. Watch, far from any throne. Let him carry the weight of his choices forever. And here's the catch. This time, it's not just about Jon's punishment. It's about making sure no one else ever falls into the same trap. They start talking about dismantling the system, really breaking the wheel this time. No more Iron Throne. No more single ruler with absolute power. Sansa proposes the North stay independent, of course, but now the other houses are thinking bigger. They start discussing a council, shared rule, where decisions are made together, not by one person sitting, on a throne made of swords. In the end, they agree. Westeros can't keep repeating this cycle. The Iron Throne is gone for a reason. It's time to build something new from the ashes, something that might actually work. And Jon, he gets sent back to the Wall, just like before. But in this twist, his exile hits way harder. He's not just leaving behind a dead queen, he's leaving behind the ghosts of Cersei and Jaime too. Every step he takes beyond the Wall is a reminder of everything he's lost, everything he's fought for, and everything that went up in flames because of love and power. His final scene? Jon, standing out in the snow, staring into the endless, white beyond the Wall. Ghost by his side, wildlings waiting in the distance. He takes a deep breath, closes his eyes for a second, and then steps forward into the unknown. No fanfare, no big speech, Just a broken man walking away from the wreckage of a world he tried so hard to save. Back in King's Landing, Tyrion becomes a key part of the new council. But you can tell, he's forever scarred. Every time he sits at that table, he remembers Jaime's face. He remembers the love that destroyed his family. And even though they're trying to build something better, there's always that weight in the room. That silent reminder that power, love, and betrayal are always lurking in the shadows. And that's the mark this alternate ending leaves. Westeros is free from the old ways, but the scars, they never really heal. Jaime and Cersei's tragic spiral, Daenerys' fiery downfall, Jon's impossible choice, they all become legends, stories told for generations. Cautionary tales about what happens when love and power collide in the worst possible way. In the end, no one really wins. But maybe, just maybe, they finally learn something, and that's how this dark, twisted alternate ending rewrites Game of Thrones. More tragic, more human, and way more haunting than before. Hope you enjoyed this ride. Let me know if you want a follow-up theory or dive into a whole new idea next.